Welcome to Lewd Mood. I'm Becky.
And I'm Kelly.
And we're your hosts, two 40-something-year-old college roommates ready to take you on a wild ride through the bizarre, scandalous, and downright lewd news of the world and our own lives.
This is going to be good, folks. We promise you'll have a blast. So, without further ado, let's do this. Welcome to Lewd Mood. We are back for episode 8, I believe.
It
What's going on with you? Tell me all the things.
Well, I have pink eye.
Oh, good. Excellent. Did Drew get mad at you and fart on your pillow?
That would be on brand right now if he did. I'm not exactly sure how I got it. I actually don't even know if it's pink eye. I have some kind of raging eye infection where I woke up with my eyes matted shut. But it didn't matter because it made me feel a little under the weather, and I binged Bridgerton instead. So,
I also binged Bridgerton, mostly because I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah,
I read all the books.
Yeah, you did. I forgot you did that.
32 books by the author. I know all about Bridgerton. I know all about the Bridgerton family. It's fantastic.
You stand for Bridgerton, for real.
I do. Hardcore stand.
Well, for those of you that aren't as hardcore as me and Kelly, and I'm not as hardcore as Kelly, season 3, which is the Penelope and Colin season, came out. The first half of it came out on Thursday. There was 4 episodes. Sure, and all we really need to talk about is the last 15 minutes of the last episode. So let's talk about that. Now, spoiler alert. If you have not watched it and you don't, if you've been off the internet and you haven't heard about this, which I don't know how you've missed it, you may want to fast forward a bit because the last 15 minutes of the last episode is what we were all waiting for. And it was them hooking up.
Yeah.
Well, let's be real. Colin finger banged Penelope in the back of a carriage.
Yeah. Things were going down. I thought it was going to be Colin, but it was not.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of surprised. But, there's been some tension, especially on Penelope's end for like several seasons. She's been waiting for this moment to happen.
I know. It was like the best moment of her life. I was very excited about this because I did read the books. And I was like, oh, he's running after the carriage. I know what happens in the carriage.
Oh, you already knew. But there's nothing as good as seeing it, which was interesting because, it's like back in the day when like they really didn't do that kind of shit, but they definitely did in Bridgerton. That's for sure. And here, I don't know if you noticed this detail, but I definitely did. So after they were done with their like hot and heavy second base, heavy petting session.
Yeah.
Colin was trying to put Penelope's dress kind of like, she was very disheveled. Her dress was off the shoulder a little bit. So he reached up with the same hand that had been up her skirt to pull her sleeve up. And he kept his 2 fingers off her dress as not to leave remnants of their rendezvous all over her dress.
See, that's the kind of details that Shonda Rhimes is really good with. It's not details.
Yeah, impressive.
I love that scene with one exception.
What?
One exception. There was like right in the beginning when they were first getting ready to like go after it. Yeah. The face he makes is like it's like he's like a mummy or I don't know what is going on with that face, but I giggled. I was like, this makes me uncomfortable. This is
it was like too much? Like it wasn't
like, right. You have to go back and watch it. It's like he makes this face where his like mouth is open and his eyes are, and he's just like,
Oh no, it was like a really bad O face, but he wasn't even Owen. So
yes.
Oh no, there's nothing worse than that. Like there's nothing worse that when you're in an intimate moment with someone and their facial expressions don't match what you expect and you're like, oh, I'm immediately turned off by this.
I know. With all the attention to detail, with the fingers, with everything. And then they didn't cut that face out of there.
I was like, his face.
What is happening?
Maybe that's his face, Kelly. Like maybe that's what it
so
looks
handsome.
like when he's excited. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
But that face was not. That was not it for me.
Okay.
But other than that, I was like, it is finally happening. Good for them. And coming up later,
literally coming up.
There's a scene And all I'm going to say is mirror. And it
Mirror.
is, in the book, it's spicy. So I hope it's as spicy on TV as it is in the book.
Well, Bridgerton is like borderline pornographic, which is, I think, why we all love it. But because it's like you're watching it at Netflix.
Yes.
So you're like, this isn't porn.
Yeah. Like, it's not Skinamax or anything.
Yeah, right. Well, who doesn't love a mirror? I mean, come on. This could only go well.
I'm hoping so.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah, but I was really into that a little bit with Francesca too. The other sister that's on the Marriage Mart right now that just got in there. Later on, her story is actually one of my favorites. So, nice. And her book is spicy.
I've got to say, I thought it was pretty great that she's very clearly on the autism spectrum, which, and then of course is attracted to somebody, I think at one of the balls that very clearly is also on the spectrum, which I think is pretty great because as common as autism is now, let's represent people for who they are. Not everybody is the smoke show of a person that's typically developed. I just think it's so great. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's truly showing diversity on all levels, which is pretty freaking sweet. So,
yes. Just to give you a little foreshadowing, her book is entitled When He Was Wicked.
Oh, damn.
And he's not mean. I'll tell you that.
He's not mean? Oh,
but she might get choked in a fun way.
Oh, I hope so. Man, it's
a great book. I would recommend reading it.
It's been a minute since anybody's been choked in a fun way, so we definitely need this to happen. So middle of June, the second half of the season comes out. We will recap at that time. Please be obsessed with it. In the meantime, watch it if you haven't.
Yeah.
So enough of that.
Yes.
What did you do this weekend?
Well, I did a lot of things. I'm in the process of moving, so I've been doing a lot of packing. I met up with some friends. I gossiped a lot. Nice. in like a fun way, not like mean gossip. Yeah. Just like, hey, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah.
Tell me all the deets. Give me the tea.
Lots of tea was spilled. Nice. However, the best part of my weekend was my nephew, my sweet, fun nephew, who I love so much, graduated with his associate's degree from the junior college. And he's headed off to Illinois State University. He graduated with not one, but 2 associate degrees because he's a freaking
damn.
Yes.
Well, congrats to him. That's amazing.
Yes. So him and his girlfriend both graduated. They're awesome. The funny part was there's like 700 kids that graduated close to it. Ugh. And the ceremony was like 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes long. And my nephew was like in the first like 15 people that was called. So
goodbye.
Him and his girlfriend got called like right away. So we like were cheering for them. His poor girlfriend, her name is Gianna, and spelled normal, like nothing weird. No. And they called her Gianna.
No.
And I was like, what the fuck? How do you mess that up?
That is a very common name. Gianna is.
Very common name. Very, very common.
Not to change the subject, but did you see, I don't remember what college it was, that graduation where the woman that was doing the announcing read the phonetic spellings of everyone's names, like Rachel, Jessica, but like said them like Jessica, like completely wrong for every single person, just completely fucked it up. I don't know how that's even possible, but it was horrible. So
I will tell you.
Poor Gianna. We'll give her a special shout on the podcast.
Shout out to Gianna. She's awesome. Yeah. We like her.
We love her.
And she handled it like a champ, but I was like, what the fuck? How do you mess that name up?
Kidding. Jeez.
But it was fun. But as soon as those 2 were called, I was like, time to read my book because the rest of these kids, I don't care.
Don't care.
The 2 that I wanted to see, they walked across. I cheered. I was proud of them. And now on to my fairy books.
Let me get caught up on my fairy smut because I've already done Bridgerton, so I got to get back to that fairy shit now.
Yeah, absolutely. On to the fairy books.
Oh, man.
But speaking of graduations, so the speaker gave a very environmental speech, which made a lot of the old timers in the audience very uncomfortable. It's about climate change and, protecting the environment, which I don't know why that makes people uncomfortable. But
it does. People get so pissed about it. I just don't get it.
But I was like, wow, some of these graduation speeches, people go a little off the rails. Like,
they sure do.
Harrison Butker. Should we pop off in our pop culture pop off about Harrison Butker?
We have to. So a little backstory here. So Harrison Butker, who is the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, was the keynote speaker at Benedictine College, which I believe is in Kansas. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So he was a keynote in just this last week. He did for the graduating class. And, kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, he's very good. He is a tall, traditionally good-looking white guy who makes millions of dollars a year kicking a ball for a living, maybe 2, 3, 4 times a game tops, right? Yeah. So I think he last season played a total of 6 minutes. I think someone totaled it up. So, key player, but, kicks the ball. So that's his resume. He, at this keynote, decided to take a political stance at Benedictine College, which is a Catholic college. Yeah. And he decided to take a couple jabs at the current president. Not a fan. Took some jabs at abortion, IVF, and surrogacy. Yep. Also not a fan. Some jabs at the Catholic Church about not being traditional enough. Yeah. And then decided to address the women that were graduating specifically in his speech. Yeah. And what he did was he said, although you may be sitting here thinking about your upcoming career and your promotions you'll receive and the opportunities that are going to come from your college graduation, I'm guessing the majority of you are most excited about becoming a wife and a mother. Yes. And then decided to use his wife as an example. His wife, who herself had career aspirations, who put them aside and decided to make her career as a homemaker. Yep. And at that time, her life truly began because her purpose on this planet was to be a wife and a mother and to just serve the family. Yes. And did I capture that correctly?
Yes. My favorite part is he called it the most diabolical lie was them going into the workforce.
Right. Right.
So that's an interesting take. Now, granted, it might have been the greatest moment of his wife's life.
Sure. Could be.
Truly. Good for her. Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of people out there whose calling is to be a wife and a mother.
Absolutely.
And I say, good for you. You go. Yeah. You do you, boo-boo.
Absolutely.
However, there are plenty of us in the world who being a wife and a mother is not something that seems appealing, does not seem fun, does not seem like something that we want to do.
Absolutely. Well, and not only that, Kelly, but what about people who want to be a wife or a mother, but that opportunity did not come their way? There's a lot of people that want to be married. There's a lot of people that want to have children and either circumstantially cannot or physically are unable to and or economically unable to, there's a myriad of reasons why somebody is not a mother. So many. And it's just so elitist as someone who makes millions of dollars a year to put that out there and knowing full well that these people graduating with college degrees, some of which will be in professions that don't pay a lot, like teaching, social work. I mean, those are predominantly female dominated industries. They don't make a lot of money. Okay. They just don't, but they're necessary to the workforce, right? We have to have people that do that. And so it's just so narrow-minded, especially in this economy where 75, 80 grand a year doesn't pay shit and you can't live on your own. And who could have a kid on that? Like, come on.
There's nothing that grinds my gears more than when somebody has such a narrow-minded opinion and they think their way is the only way that life exists.
Like a blanket statement. It's black and white.
If you're going to attack the Catholic Church for something, use it to stand against pedophiles.
Oh, right.
That's a perfect thing to stand up for.
Yeah.
And say, hey, you know what? The Catholic Church didn't do enough to protect innocent children.
Right. Oh, but Kelly,
you're going to use this.
Kelly, you forget. Nobody cares about the kids once they're born. No, you forgot.
Literally.
It's more important that they come out of the body. And then after that, you're on your own, kid.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
Pull your boots up. Pull your boots up.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
No.
So I obviously am not a wife or a mother, right?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do, Becky? in this utopian world that he has created. Okay. Clearly, if we're in The Handmaid's Tale, I am Aunt Lydia, right?
You are Aunt Lydia. You are.
But I'm Aunt Lydia, like
I am June Osborne.
I'm cosplaying Aunt Lydia and rescuing people and getting them out of there.
Yeah.
Right. In this world.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't have, so let's say you're somebody who can't have kids. So you have no purpose. Your skill set that God gave you has no value. Whether you're like a teacher or you have whatever.
Yeah. I would be curious his take on that, because it's just like, again, such a narrow-minded viewpoint. Yeah. And women already have enough pressure to, you know,
do everything.
To do everything, right? And it is, I will say, I am a mother, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. There is a reason why I wasn't a stay-at-home mom, because I could not handle it. I am the first to admit, on my first maternity leave with my daughter, I wanted to go back to work early. That's how much I disliked staying home. It was so hard. It was so stressful. The work never stops. The baby never stops. Like, it's so much work. And my kids are older now, but it's still like you're in mom mode all the time. It is hard. Okay. And so, like, if you don't want children, that's an excellent choice. So similar, it's like, I don't want to be a doctor, or I don't want to be an attorney, or whatever. Like, I choose something that fits my skill set. Right. So, like, it's just insane to me. What really grinded my gears, what really pissed me right the fuck off, was the comments about the IVF and surrogacy portion of it as well. He very, not surprisingly, skipped right over adoption. Yeah. So for those of you that do not know, I'm adopted. My brother is also adopted, not from the same family. I was adopted at 13 months old. And so I small stint in foster care, and then lived with my parents until they were able to officially adopt me. And so I feel like I can have an opinion about this. My mother, who adopted me, tried for a long time to have children. And she had so many tragedies in her journey to become a mother. She can't talk about it. She can't. It's so traumatic for her. So there, at some point, the only option was to adopt. And it was a financial hardship for my parents to do that. They didn't make a lot of money. I mean, my dad had a good job, but, you know, adoption was expensive. In the 80s, it was, you know, my brother was more, he was like 8 or 10 grand, and I was $2,000 cheaper because I was a girl.
A discount for Becky because she comes with less parts.
I was a discount baby. Yes, I was. So, which is, I don't get it, but, you know, whatever. This is how it is and was. So, you know, I know the Christian thing to do is to adopt and save the children, right? But, like, in my parents' situation, my mother was unable to carry a child to term. So, does that make her less of a person? You know, what if adoption wasn't in the cards? Like, what if they wanted to have a biological child, like, and do the IVF route or a surrogate? Like, who are you to say that that isn't how you get to create your family? You're okay buying somebody's kid in adoption, but you're not okay with science, which is something, if you're religious, God created for us to use, right? And I would say this is in a positive, helpful way, right? It just seems...
It's very narrow-minded. It's very... Wow. And listen, like, his message, like, a lot of people found refreshing.
They sure did. He had supporters.
You know, if that is something, if you heard his message and you're like, this is my guy, great. I love that for your family, not for everybody's family. Okay? If that's just not black and white. If that's your thing, good for you. Quit rubbing it on everybody else.
But we have failed to mention the most ironic part, though, Kelly. His mother is a physicist at Emory.
Yeah. He didn't have a problem with his mommy's money.
No.
Getting him those kicking lessons, making sure that he got to go to a nice school.
Right.
Help, all these things. He didn't mind that. But, you know, in his heart, she should have been in the kitchen.
Yeah. How dare she use her God-given skills to better humanity?
Girl,
how dare she use her God-given talents?
Dare she?
Yeah. Insane. And even more insane, we have some alleged allegations that are coming from some friends from college.
Mm-hmm. Which is very common when somebody protests this too much. Thou protesteth too much, Harrison.
Yeah, maybe the rumors are that he allegedly hooked up with a male cheerleader in college.
He liked cheerleaders, but not the female ones.
Right, the males. Yeah, so you can't lie about anything anymore. Everything comes out.
Have you seen the videos of him at this Christian masculinity conference?
I haven't seen the videos, but I've heard about them.
Have you seen this? It is like monster trucks and machine guns, and it is like the most ridiculous. It's like everything that they think should be like masculine. Like
right, this is what makes you a man.
And I'm like, oh.
Listen, you know what this makes me think of? Have you watched the TV show The Righteous Gemstones?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It is exactly like that.
Let me tell you, listen, if you're listening to this and you don't know what I'm talking about, get HBO Max. You need to watch The Righteous Gemstones. Immediately binge it. You will not be sorry. And then send us a message so we can talk about it, because I swear to God, I grew up I went to a private Christian school. I went to church twice a week. Like, I've had all the religious training you could possibly imagine and everything stuffed down my throat my entire life. And this is the best representation of the bullshit that goes on in a big church like that. Oh, absolutely. Man. They had a monster truck in the last season. That's what made me think of it.
It is ridiculous. And listen, we are not anti-Christianity. We are not anti-religion.
No.
We are anti you taking bits and pieces of your religion and using it to hate other people.
Freedom of speech and freedom of religion was from persecution from the government, not from your fellow man, right? Yeah. So like, you don't get to pick and choose and interpret it the way that you want to. That was the full intention of the Constitution. Yes. And if you are a true Constitution believer, then you need to go back and read your shit and realize that freedom of speech does not absolve you from like criticism from the general public. Yeah. So the backlash that might come along. So
100%. So
interesting, man. It's so
yourself
icky.
Before you wreck yourself, sir. Oh, speaking of kickers. This is a bad
what transition. A transition.
This is a terrible transition.
No, I love it. Speaking of kickers.
Let's talk about Diddy for a second.
Oh, Diddy, he's back.
Diddy's back in the news, Becky, because a video surfaced of him kicking the shit out of his girlfriend. Cassie.
Yes, Cassie. Yeah, poor Cassie. Ex-girlfriend.
His ex-girlfriend. Yes. And then they had video footage of her 2 days later at a movie premiere with bruises all up and down her legs.
Because he was kicking the shit out of her.
So he released a video where he was crying. It's
on Instagram if you want to go see it.
It's on Instagram. He's crying. I was at the rock bottom.
Sure.
Some of these guys get so abusive and then they cry their way out of being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, take some full responsibility. You know,
I think it's interesting that as he's publishing this video onto Instagram, he is also on an island where he can't be extradited back to the United States.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Are you really sorry? Are you really innocent?
Such a good man that he let his sons take the fall.
Yeah.
What a righteous gemstone that man is.
He really is. He really is. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to keep coming out about Diddy. A lot of stuff has come out. It's so complicated again. It's interesting that he decided to, I mean, I guess you can't hide from a video. Yeah. That's not fake. There's no like deep faking going on in that video. It's him, straight up him and Cassie. It's pretty brutal. It is on the internet if you watch it. I don't recommend it. Yeah. But don't watch. Don't give Diddy any publicity.
We watched it for you. It's horrible.
Yeah, we did. Just know it's shitty and stupid.
Yeah, just like he's not a good human being.
Like, I think I'll just stay like a little poor forever, Yeah, because I feel like that's a happy little place.
I just want to be boat rich. That's all I want.
Yeah, we want a boat. Yeah,
I want two houses and a boat.
Yeah.
And dual.
I also want you to have a boat so that I can sit on it with you.
Thank you. I also I wouldn't mind a dual income in my household.
Well, there's only one way to do that.
Through Bumble?
Through Bumble.
Should we do the Bumble Beat, Becky?
It's time.
Oh, we got bass this week. I was really inspired by Bridgerton, her playing the piano. So I thought I'd add another bar to the song there.
Are you sure you weren't inspired by Pitbull playing in the background of Penelope getting finger banged in the back of that carriage?
Listen,
it was Pitbull.
I love it. Good for her. You know I love some Pitbull.
Who hasn't gotten finger banged to Pitbull?
Wow, it takes me back to college. You and me both, Penelope. You and me both.
Been there, girl. Been there.
You're in the carriage. I'm in the champagne room, bitch.
Oh my God. Pitbull is just like living his best life right now.
He sure is, Mr. 305.
Yeah. Okay, so Bumble Beat. Give it to me. What do we got?
All right. So as you know, Becky, so let me just preface this because we had some really douche canoe men on the podcast. And I just want to say, we love men. We support them. We love a good, solid man that takes care of his family, takes care of his wife, like takes care of people around him. We respect the shit out of them. So I decided Bumble Beat. I got three eligible suitors that are good, seem like good humans.
Nice.
Yeah, because it's not all men. But we're going to point out the ones that are douchey. But I think we should give some spotlight to the kings out there. So
let's find you a good king. Do I get to pick for you this week?
It is, yes.
The day I've been waiting for.
Finally, the Bumble Beat is Becky. As you know, we get three suitors listed. Today's game is Pick My Pony.
All right. I'm going to find you a man today.
All right. So Becky, three suitors here. Suitor number one, his name is Brian. He's 40. And he says, we'll get along if you like to go to the lake and do water sports and fish.
Oh, you're a lake girl forever.
You know I'm a lake girl.
Oh boy, we're off to a good start.
All right. Suitor number two, his name is Keith. He's 38 years old. And he describes himself, he says he is a gentleman, but dances like a hoe. His simple pleasure is making a fire and having an old fashioned.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm. I told you, kings.
Wow.
Suitor number three, his name is Ray. He's 44. He's single, bilingual, and down to mingle. So Becky.
Oh, and funny.
So Becky, pick my pony.
Oh my God, they're so good. Okay, all right. Who should finger bang you to a Pitbull song in the back of a carriage? So just purely out of lack of information, I'm just going to eliminate Ray easily because he didn't give me enough. I mean, he's funny. We love that he's bilingual.
Yeah.
I mean, we love an educated man. Like, that sounds great. However, I lit up like a Christmas tree to Bachelor number two, Keith. Mm-hmm. Dancing like a hoe and old fashions, like that's your love language.
It really is my love language.
It really is.
I know.
But also you dream of being a lake girl forever and ever. So can I pick two? Can I pick Brian and can I also pick Keith for you?
I mean, I feel like at this point it's about the at-bats. So sure.
Yeah. We need to up that on-base percentage. So the more the merrier. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel like Keith might be the one, and he's a little bit younger than you, and men die sooner than women do. So I feel like this is meant to be. Like you might just die together, like those cute old people in Pompeii.
Oh God, yes, that is a dream. I will tell you, when I was reading Keith's Bachelor number two, I was like, do you want to get married?
Would you like to form an alliance with me?
Would you like to form an alliance with me? I was just like, what? This man would be fun to take out and about. You know I love to dance. Your girl likes to dance. I like to hit the dance floor. I like to drop it low. Even if I can't walk the next morning. Correct. I'm out there dropping it low and drinking an old fashioned.
That's really that's like your favorite drink.
It is my favorite drink.
And sitting around a fire.
Yeah.
Like doing nothing. However, you could also drink an old fashioned on the lake with a fire, watching him go fishing as he brings home tonight's dinner. There's options. I feel like, listen, you got to cast a wide net, see who sticks. So I think it's worth it to swipe on both. Really? You can swipe on all three. What's it going to hurt?
I mean, I did. So we'll see. I think I need to renovate my Bumble profile a little bit. So it's a little bit more. So maybe when I go visit you this weekend, we can upgrade my Bumble account so I can start casting a wider net.
I'm here for it.
This is a digital age right now, and your girl is best when met in the wild.
Yeah, you're better in the wild. You're better in person.
I'm great in person.
I think that's our age showing a bit. And also your profession doesn't really allow for you to be on your phone all day, every day. So
no, it sure doesn't.
That's why. Well, I think this sounds great. Both of these guys sound like they maybe also don't love being on a phone. So how great would that be? I mean, your phone usually doesn't work at the lake. So
no, it doesn't. Much like my
when
computer.
you're dropping low, your phone is in your pocket. So,
that's right. Drop it low, drop it low.
I can't wait to drop it low at your wedding with Keith. And maybe Brian will be there too. Who knows? It's 2024.
Hey, you never know.
I love that. It was so nice to have some nice, suitable men on the Bumble Beat. It was a nice palate cleanser. We really needed
Sometimes
that,
you need a palate cleanser.
Sometimes you need
a palate cleanser. Oh man, I think we covered it all today, Beck. Should we wrap it up, Beck?
I think we should. We did good. This was great. Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Well, thanks for listening to Lewd Mood. I am Kelly.
And I'm Becky.
Bye.
Lewd Mood podcast is produced by Kelly Lally and Becky Pospisil.
Music by Paul Size of Red Beat Entertainment.
Listen to our podcast anytime on Spotify podcasts.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Lewd Mood